Okay, assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa marhaba bikum. A very warm welcome to you all, and welcome back to day 2 of the 2015 Kayaks Cybersecurity Conference. How did everybody go yesterday? Good? Guys are good? Are you ready for a big productive day 2? You guys don't sound very interested. Are you guys ready for a productive day 2? Yes! You want energy. Okay, great. So before we get started and I introduce our first speaker for the day, I want to remind you about an important workshop that we have starting at 9 a.m. hosted by Ayman that you obviously heard from yesterday. The subject being the effective approach for protecting oil and gas critical infrastructures from emerging cyber threats. And now that's starting at 9 a.m. It'll be at the hotel, so that we're all meeting at around 10 to 9. So if you do want to attend the workshop, you must pre-register at the actual desk outside. They'll take down your details. At around 10 to 9, you guys will all go together to the room of the workshop. So if you are wanting to register, I urge you guys to do this now and to basically proceed there around 10 to 9. Now it's with my absolute pleasure to introduce our first speaker for day 2. He's going to be speaking on the subject of industrial cybersecurity risk management solutions. Now, he's the Director of Business Development of Cybersecurity for the Middle East and Africa at Honeywell Industrial Cybersecurity. He has an extensive background and experience in cybersecurity across multiple sectors, including automation, industrial control systems, and surveillance. It's with my absolute pleasure to welcome the Leader of Business Development for Honeywell, Mr. Safdar Akhtar, please, to the stage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Hi guys, my name is Safdar Akhtar. Recently I'm in process of moving from US to Dubai. It's been 6 months with Honeywell. Prior to coming here, I used to work for, I used to be a business development director for a company called Glimmerglass Optical Cybersecurity. And I have years of experience in cyber defense and surveillance, years of experience in optical signal collection and inside analytics. What does that mean is, in my prior life, prior to Honeywell, I used to be the guy who used to develop end-to-end system for signal intelligence, like taking data either from submarine cable landing or somewhere from that backhaul and bring it back all the way to different countries' intelligence center and normalize that data. And the targets were different. Targets was people, not machines. Also, I've been a part of 3 successful startups from US. So today's agenda is what I'm going to do is I'll start with what is industrial cybersecurity. Because when we said cybersecurity, it could mean many things, like cyber defense, surveillance. Then you have offense, you have defense, then you have industrial cybersecurity. And today I'm just going to focus on industrial cybersecurity. And also I'm going to talk about where plants and control systems are vulnerable, vulnerabilities and threats, and complete industrial cybersecurity solutions. So to begin with, what is industrial cybersecurity? What is industrial cybersecurity? Industrial cybersecurity is a practice and processes of technology sorry about that, let me step back a little bit. Actually, I'm a little bit nervous right now. This is my first time I'm doing that, industrial cybersecurity. So Honeywell Industrial Cybersecurity, basically, before I go on, I wanted to give you a little bit overview about our industrial cybersecurity. We're the leading provider for cybersecurity solutions that help to protect availability, safety, and reliability of industrial control systems and operation. Basically, we're leveraging our existing industrial control system and cybersecurity experience, and our global team has executed many projects out there. So it's extremely important to know what is the difference between industrial cybersecurity and IT cybersecurity. Industrial cybersecurity is the body of practice processes and technology designed to defend process controls and system computer program from data attacks, damages, and disruption. Basically, what we do is in industrial cybersecurity, it's all about availability, safety, and processes. And IT cybersecurity is more like confidentiality and business. So in IT cybersecurity, it's downtime is acceptable. But when it comes to us industrial cybersecurity, the downtime is not acceptable. Okay? So where we plants and systems are vulnerable. If you look at people, policies, and technologies, somehow they're connected with your network, and these networks are connected with your systems. Okay? So most weakest link out of these vulnerabilities are people, not only in industrial cybersecurity, even in regular cybersecurity, because people usually get hacked. They're the one who usually pick that Trojan, and the reason they do that because they have freedom to click anywhere on the screen. So let's talk about the plants. For example, your trust usually get compromised by employees. The reason it does because it's not necessarily they wanted to break into your system. They could make a mistake. The contractors, they come from hotel. Last night, probably the guy was staying in hotel today. He come to your site and he wanted to get connected to your system. And last night when I was in the hotel, he was checking his emails and everything. He probably have picked up a virus or worm which he can carry with him to your plant. Okay? And it's usually a human errors, negligence, small things which turn into a big fiasco. The policies are another thing, from last 15 years, if everything is running good, as a human, we get a little lazy, and we forget to, pay attention to our cybersecurity policies, or, we will probably leave unnecessary port open, we'll leave services open. And a lot of time, these hackers, if they see that, if there's any services open or any ports open, they will attack you because they're continuously doing scanning from sitting outside. And the last one is technology. You have firewalls, you have Cisco primes, a lot of these things. And most of the time, if firewalls that's your first line of defense. If that firewall is improperly configured, the attacker can always come through these open ports. And the way they do that is, I have an iPhone, a lot of people have different type of phones. I can go and download these free services, free apps. And these free apps, basically what it does is they can provide me with different type of tools. One tool is scanning ports, scanning IP addresses, scanning MAC addresses. And once I have that type of information, then the next step is very easy to go through, to see open ports and go through that system. And the last one is network and systems. Basically, all these connections between industrial cybersecurity and corporate. For example, if your firewall is not configured right, for example, if the DMZs are not configured right, you can get attacked. Also, there is unsecured remote access a lot of time. Okay. As a vendor, we will request end user to give us access to their network. And a lot of time they forget to close these ports. Another one is any file transfer from external devices. So a friend of mine last week, actually that's a true story, he downloaded an email. And then within the email there was an attachment. He went, click on that attachment, and everything was working fine. All of a sudden, he needed an attachment. He wanted to look into that attachment, what's going on, and everything was encrypted. That worm was slowly encrypting his all different attachments, and it was a ransomware. Also, the guy sent him an email, if you pay me, I'll send you a key to open this encryption. So he asked me what should I do. So my recommendation was purely at that time, just reformat everything. And don't pay this guy, don't give him your credit card, because once you have given him a credit card, he's going to come back next month again. It could be a sleeper worm. So a lot of time your laptop components and tablets, when you bring them to a site, they can be infected. So there's two ways to attack right now, right? One of them is through your broadband and on your phone. Another one is through your regular cell phone data, it's regular cell phone connection. Did anyone ever hear this? A new app came out called FireChat. Okay, so you don't need those two connections. Now actually, I can turn off my phone, like my cell phone services. I don't need to get on broadband. Within 100 feet, depending on device type, I can get connected to anyone within 100 feet. And I can make a mesh network and people as long as they're expanding. So that's another side that attack can come. So again, like all of your mobile devices and laptop tablets, they're equipped with these wireless connections. And the last one is just an example, Microsoft Operating System XP. XP was released about 15 years ago, and they patched it every month. So they ran out of patching, so they didn't know what to do with it, and they just obsolete that product. Okay. So what could be, these are few of emerging threats, and there's a list of them. If you ask people, especially the specialists, like, give me emerging threats on your network or any area, they can give you, like, it's a whole subject. They can write a book on it. So one of them is the legacy systems. Coming out of different side and coming into industrial automation, one thing I realized that average plant life is 30 years. And they have a lot of legacy and new systems they're running together. And some of those legacy systems, their username and their passwords are hard-coded. You can't change them. So if I'm a hacker, if I come from outside, and once I gain that access, then I'm going to go scan all of that legacy equipment and try to break into that equipment. Because I don't need to guess username. I don't need to guess password. I can find it on that Google. I can Google this information, and I can go after it. And because of legacy equipment and new system, they're very complex. When you put them together, it's not a very clean system. It's not a very clean system. It's not a very clean network. So people can, like, it's not easy to protect those type of networks. So there should be some sort of a risk program out there, how to deal with legacy equipment and how to deal with new equipment as well. Another thing we are really going high on is the local and global interconnectivity. The more you get interconnected, the more you'll become risk-prone. For that, I recommend everybody to do an encryption and do a dual encryption. Because with that encryption like Google or encryption like what Hotmail is providing, that can be broken very easily through a man-in-the-middle attack. All they need to do is to exchange certificates. As a matter of fact, just for all of you guys, reminder, when you travel and you go sit in a hotel, you pay $20 or whatever the price is to get on their internet, especially in the hotel or anywhere else. The first thing they do is they release you a certificate and say yes. Have you guys ever said yes to it? You're being man-in-the-middle attack. The guy's exchanging the certificate. He is lowering your encryption down. Now the person in the middle, he's reading all of your communication. Okay? So also increase in vulnerability in software and hardware. What does that mean is a lot of vendors under pressure, they release half-baked system, and they will keep sending you new upgrades. They'll keep talking about those things, and because electronics and software, it becomes very, very complex and sophisticated. So they usually need time to make it right, but they'll release it and they'll say, that, okay, we'll fix it in 6 months, we'll give you a new load, that problem will be fixed, and it's a continuous cycle. Increase in standards and regulation compliance requirements. So most of the vendors, all of the vendors here, we talk about ISA 99 or IEC 62443, which is great, and that's how everybody should, that's the way toward everybody should go. But also at the same time, a lot of these countries, they're taking positive steps. For example, UAE, they have NISA standards, Qatar has ICT, I think Aramco has some standards too, which they're working on. So standards are always good. So the last one is that, again, there's like, network tools, networks and tool threats, spyware, Trojan, keyloggers. These things are there easily available. You don't need to buy them anymore. Actually, I can go on my cell phone right now and I can download many programs. They're filled with spywares. For example, I can download right now Wireshark. I'm already connected to your network. I can start collecting people's packet, whoever is communicating. And if I have a forensics tool, or if I'm a little bit better at Wireshark, I can put 2 and 2 together. Based on metadata, I can build those relationships, who's connected to who. Really quick, I can correlate data on the target. So when I talk about encryption, when I was talking about encryption, it's extremely, extremely important to have a good encryption on your system. It's extremely important to have an encryption inside your plants, inside your all layers. Because if someone goes with that phone inside, they will able to break into your network. They will download packets with Wireshark. They'll alter the packet. They can always upload it. So the last one is then again, increase in well-organized cyber professional criminals. So there are always hackers are among us. So here's a story. Here's a little analogy. The world has been like, this physical world we are living in, we made it billions of years ago. It took us that long to get here, like, in this modern society. Why we got here? Because we built some regulations and laws, like, police station to make sure if someone is doing wrong, we put them, we discipline them. There was judges, there was rules, all that stuff. So what we did is we built these physical borders around people to make sure they're behaving right. That virtual world we created a few years back, 30 years ago, there are no rules. In physical world, my name is Safdar Akhtar. I'm born in some country. I went to school somewhere. I'm living somewhere. You can get that information very easily. On virtual world, I can have many identities. I can have 16 emails, 20 emails. I can have many different phone numbers. I can have many different. So it's not easy to, when we talk about hackers and things, why we can't get them. The reason you can't get them because they have too many identities. And how do you get that hacker? You usually look at this email address, or you will look at some behavior, some trends in analysis, and based on that, you will go back. But these guys are very smart. They're continuously changing it. Another thing is we talk about MAC addresses. Yes, this is a MAC address. It cannot be changed. Trust me, it can be changed. You can change it on the fly. So it's really hard to get these guys because they are continuously moving. They use programs like anonymizers. Have you guys heard of anonymizers? Like Tor, Total Onion Router. I can sit here in Kuwait. If I wanted to attack some country, I'm not going to go from here to there. I'm just going to use another proxy country in the middle, and I'm going to go attack that country. And when those guys find out, if they wanted to look back, they'll come back to that proxy country, and that everything will stop right there. So what I'm trying to get your attention is there's a lot of emerging threats out there, a lot of them. And of course, there's malicious physical attacks as well. So I can go on and on and on this this subject.
Yeah, maybe just stay there.
So as a Honeywell, we provide full industrial cybersecurity solution. It's actually an ongoing initiative, like, around people, processes, and technology, and it consists of 6 life cycles.
Okay, just check with her.
For example, long time ago, there was like, we have these big castles. If you've been to a castle, you look at it, they have these big, beautiful walls, big, beautiful windows. And the reason they built it was a specific reason to protect themselves. They were continuously bringing new tools, continuously bringing new weapons to protect themselves. So cybersecurity is exactly the same. It's a continuously process. You got to continuously update your tools. You got to continuously go around these 6 cycles. Okay. So I'm going to go through the first one. Basically, it's assessment and audits. So if you don't know, the assessment and audits is very important. If you don't know what you have, you're not going to be able to protect it. So for existing plants which have age, they're already deployed, so it's always a good idea to go through a assessment and try to make it to a habit. Every year or every few years you need to do it. So that will kind of help you to create a baseline so you can move up to the baseline. So an assessment and audits, basically what assessment and auditor, when these guys comes in, what they'll do is they'll help you and identify the biggest risk, from smaller risk to biggest risk. And the way they do it, they will take some leading industrial standard. It could be 62443, or it could be your country standard. So they'll build you a very nice, full guidelines and report. And also, they'll help you to find out the more vulnerabilities and devices on the system. Basically, what they are doing is they're helping you to prioritize risks, how to do a risk reduction. Okay? So Honeywell, we have executed more than 500 sites, not only on assessment of full projects, and we have done many assessments. And we do assessment offering on network assessments and also on wireless. So our assessments are 2 types, security assurance level 2. Basically, they're accidental or intentional attacks on network. If you wanted to go into a granularity, you wanted to do a hardening and everything, then we have assessment 3. At the end of assessment, we give you a full compliance assessment and report, and also we show you, once we do the assessment, we'll give you a full compliance and report. And based on this compliance and report, there will be some gaps, risks, and that's where we also show you how to fill those gaps, right? So we make sure that we are offering you the best solution with full layering, going from implementation of zones and conduits. Here I put that 62443. This is what we work with. So we do a full network design and optimization service especially for network, that could be including wireless. And also we do a full security design services. And these security design services, it could come into different phases. Okay? You don't have to deploy all of that stuff from day one, because the technologies keep moving, so this can be done. And also we give you a full documentation of current architecture and how you will move forward. So this is extremely important. Most of the war, based on my previous experience, this is where people will attack you from. Okay? They will attack you from that network. It needs to be secured. It needs to be really hardened. Because everything is connected, all your automation. And what we do is, what if the bad guy gets inside the network? So there's many ways to tackle that problem. One of them is if you're really security conscious company, you probably have some sandbox or honeypots where you can put them on. And also, if he does get in, and he's sitting there and he's playing with your your honeypot or your like a sandbox, how are you gonna track him back? How are you gonna implement, like, how are you gonna fix your policies? So our design, Honeywell Design Services, what we do is we offer next generation firewalls, intrusion prevention system, detection systems, perimeter security, and we also help our customers to build policies and help them to build policies. So also endpoint protection, the soft systems are easy target. The soft system could be a person, like he's carrying a USB stick. Soft target could be your it could be internal threat or external threat. So let me ask you this question. I've always heard about this Iran attack, and there's a lot of studies out there, and people say that this attack